There are tales, much like the ashes of the old world, scattered across the wastelands. Hidden within these stories are secrets, knowledge, and legends. I've traversed far and wide across this once great nation to share these stories with other travelers. I now offer you a choice to tune into this broadcast of the Wastelord's Legend Podcast.
Welcome back to the Wasteland, my friends. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about pretty much the Fallout community and just Fallout-related things. We'll have a title describing what we talked about because me and Cypher, we can go on about all kinds of things related to Fallout, so we're just going to jump right in. I wanted to start the day off with announcements, but first off, we're going to say who we are. I'm Wastelord from Wastelord's Legends. I do Fallout videos, really anything shooting and all kinds of stuff. And yeah. What about you, Cypher?
I am TheNeoCypher from the eastern half of the Colorado Caesar's land. I do lore. That's about it. Lore.
Good old lore. That's the best though, because everyone loves lore. You can play that on while you're playing. Maybe not Fortnite, but Minecraft, Fallout, of course. It's just nice to have it. That's what I like to do, or even road trips.
Have you seen the Fortnite lore though? That shit's crazy.
Dude, I need to. I know about like a tiny bit of Jonesy lore, but I go crazy in Fortnite and I'm waiting for them to add Fallout skins. But no, I don't know much about Fortnite lore.
Yeah, I don't really know much either, but I've seen like a couple videos. People talk about like the lore of different characters and how they interact, and it's not what I want. What I really want is for them to explain how they can just build shit so fast out of nowhere. I need that lore.
They're master builders from the Lego movie, bro.
Yeah, I guess so. They build faster than the guys in the Lego movies do, though, which is just wild.
The thing is when you shoot at them, they build you an entire freaking mansion, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Preston Garvey would appreciate that, I can guarantee you. But for the announcements, we're going to do, we had the Fallout New Vegas Day. That was from November 11th to the 12th. People aren't so sure if they're going to keep those same days. I thought they were pretty good. It was nice. It wasn't cold per se, but for Nevada, it was pretty good temperatures. And I was able to wear my cosplay. I highly recommend y'all check out TKS Mantis videos on those. Super fun. The costume contest was super great. And there was lots of great cosplays, met a lot of cool people, and I highly recommend y'all go to that next year. Cypher is going to be there. I swear if he's not, I'm going to dox him. So yeah.
I'm going to dox him.
I'm going to dox you, dude. I'm going to hack you. Share everything. I'll share your feet pics.
Hacker man.
So, but yeah, so that was Fallout New Vegas Day, and it was pretty dope. I had a blast. Super goated.
Was it because the Easy Pete was there?
I didn't even really get to say hi to Easy Pete. I said hi to him, and I was going through. I think I was trying to get a burger, a Brahmin burger, and I seen him. I was like, oh hey, but he was kind of busy. I didn't want to bother him.
That's fair. You want to hear like a crazy story about Good Springs?
Let's do it.
From my personal experience. So like I went there a few years ago because I did this thing that I made up called the New Vegas Tour, where I just went to Las Vegas and drove around to all the different places. Like I went to Good Springs, Prim, Nipton, Searchlight. I actually like the town of Searchlight. It's not bad. It's like a cool, quaint little highway town. Went to Hoover Dam and all that. What was that?
Is it kind of like Williams?
I'm not familiar with Williams, but it might be. Like, it's one of those towns that's got like two streets. There's the main street that everything's on, like the gas station and stuff. That's like the highway part. And then it's got a street behind that with all the houses.
So yeah, that's a lot like it. Do you know Radiator Springs, right, from Cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's based off of Williams. So
I see.
It's a lot like that. That's how I'd imagine it to be now that you say that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I went to Good Springs, moral of the story, and I took a bunch of pictures, and I went to the Pioneer Saloon, And I didn't realize that they were gonna be so proud of being like a part of Fallout. But it was really cool though to like go into the general store part and see like NCR flags and Legion banners and like all these collector's items. There was like a collector's edition map of New Vegas from the game and all different kinds of memorabilia in there. And I thought that was really, really heartwarming to see. And this was before they were doing like the New Vegas Day thing. So
yeah, it's so sick, dude, because you can go in there and you can actually, in the saloon, you can play Fallout New Vegas. They have it running 24/7 or something.
that's wild, because that definitely wasn't there last time I was there.
Yeah, dude, it's so sick. And then people, they go around and they add, little pieces of, what would you say, props, I'd say. And
Yeah.
I know there's like Nuka-Cola bottles. I know the courier with no name, he added a holotape there, and they have it there too. So it's so cool.
That's badass.
It is, dude. It is so sick. And then and I was going around there, and there's just, it was funny because you could see there's powder gangers playing, rangers playing. It was kind of goofy to see someone dressed up as a Fallout character looking really good, and then they're playing Fallout in Vegas. I thought it was so cool.
Right. You're like, you look better in real life than you do in New Vegas.
Exactly. Dude. I'm like, wow, this is weird. It was definitely an experience that I'll never forget. I definitely recommend to all the listeners that y'all go to Fallout New Vegas Day if you like Fallout at all.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to go next year. I for sure do not want to get doxxed. You know, my feet pics, they need cybersecurity.
It'd be rough because it would destroy your business, you know.
I mean, naturally, yeah.
For free.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. I mean, and then my Only Legions page would just tank.
It would. It wouldn't be as cool.
Exactly. So to wrap up my story about Good Springs, they had in the general store they had like a whole layout for Old Man Liver and his products, and I spent like, oh god, dude, like way too long trying to figure out who Old Man Liver was. I was like, is this dude just a Good Springs legend? Like, just some random guy, like he just rolled into town one day on a Tuesday and was like, yeah, drank some whiskey, and everyone in Good Springs was like, oh yeah, we should just worship this guy. No, it turns out, I guess he's the owner of the Pioneer Saloon.
Yes, he is.
But I bought his book and his like spice rub stuff, and it's pretty good. The spice rub, and the book is fucking hilarious, dude. I laughed my ass off reading that.
I heard him saying it. He was promoting it, and it was funny. It was like, if you want weight loss, just do cocaine. And I laughed.
Yeah. God. He's like, the two lessons I learned from my father: big titties and beer.
The BBs, bro.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. Yeah, he's actually the guy who orchestrates it, the Fallout New Vegas Day, and he took us around. We did the Walk for Hope for St. Jude's Hospital, I believe, and it was so cool. So we had a bunch of cosplayers. Right, there was 3,000 on the first day. I heard. I'm horrible with numbers. I would have estimated 1,000. But like I just said, I'm horrible with numbers, so I have no idea. But it was a ton of people walking, and Old Man Liver, he was actually giving us a tour of the town with a big old speakerphone or a bullhorn, and it was super cool. And I met a lot of cool people. I hung out with a guy who was cosplaying as the Chosen One. We were just talking. Everyone at the thing, I want to emphasize this, everyone at the thing is huge nerds, right? So you talk about anything Fallout, they'll know what you're talking about, and it's weird. Because normally when you make a Fallout reference in public and everyone just looks at you like you're an idiot, you got to make those references online or something. But you could go there on that day and you could make a Fallout reference and they'd start laughing and come up with one that like matches it. And it's like, whoa, it was so cool. It was really neat to have that.
That's a great sense of community.
It is, dude. The Fallout community is just one of the best. It can be really toxic at times, but for the most part, I'd like to say it's really good.
Hey man, the toxic side of the Fallout community is what I built my business on.
That is true, dude. You gotta rage farm sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember I made a bloodied build video for Fallout 76, And it was so funny, dude. So many people were enraged. They're like, "Oh, well, it's just because bloody people, they just want you to become bloodied." And it's like, whoa, bro. I was actually laughing, and I shouldn't have done this, but there was some times where I'd go in the comments and I'd start, roasting people a little bit. It's really funny to do, and I got a problem with that. I had to stop myself. Today there was a commenter. I'm not going to say anything about it, but he kind of roasted this guy, and I wanted to I went to heart his comment, and I was like, oh damn, I can't do that. That'd be messed up. So
I mean, you can. You are still an individual,
Exactly. I liked it, but I didn't heart it though, because I was like, I can't be seen doing this nonsense tomfoolery. So if you're in the comments and you're roasting each other, it's honestly, it's entertaining. I usually don't like to choose sides. I usually just like to watch you battle. It's kind of awesome. Not gonna lie. It's really fun.
Yeah, I like that too, dude. I don't know how often you spend checking the comments on your videos and stuff. I do it at least a few times a day, just because I like to read them sometimes, and as they're coming in, I like to respond to things that are overwhelmingly positive with a quick turnaround, so that way people know that I am acknowledging their presence on my channel.
Yeah, I do that. I spend, anytime someone comments, I'm pretty much immediately there on it, because I spend too much time on my phone.
I wouldn't say you spend too much time on your phone.
Not too much. Not as much as some influencers.
Exactly.
The TikTok chicks.
Yeah, what is before we switch gears, I want to ask you what some of your favorite comments were from, let's do one good, one bad. What's a comment that you got that made you feel really, really good, and then a comment that was really bad but made you laugh really hard?
Okay. I'm gonna have to think kind of hard for this. I know
That's okay.
There's been lots of positive comments, but the ones that profoundly stuck out were when they say I went above and beyond, talking about the lore. And lore is hard. If you do lore videos, you know how hard it can be.
Yeah,
you want to make sure you're not effing up. And so anytime I would get complimented with that, oh dude, that's so cool, I never even thought about that, or something like that. I think it was my I could be wrong. It was my Hellcat lore video where I made the lore on the Hellcat power armor and the Hellcats themselves. And there was I believe there's some good comments, and I was like, heck yeah. And then there's one that it's not going to be as good and bad. I'm going to say this one too. There was one, and I had the Ranger armor on, and that helmet can look big. It kind of looks. Have you seen Spaceballs?
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of how it reminds me of Loki. And someone's like, dude, if you start working out, and you'll fill up that costume and make it perfect. And I was like, that's a little bit of a roast, but mainly it's kind of just inspiration. So I was like, dude, I need to do that. I like that guy's comment, because I need to be honest with you. And then for a negative comment, I'm gonna have to think. You want to go, and I'll try to think of mine. I might not be able to, but I know there's been some negative ones.
I was just looking at my comment feed, trying to see if I can find any ones in particular, but I don't know, dude, probably 10,000 comments spread across all of my videos, so.
Oh god, dude.
That's a lot. And a lot, a significant chunk, at least 10% of those are just me replying to people.
Yeah,
so
I think that's half of my comments.
I'll do type of comments. Because there are genres of that people will comment in, basically. So for positive comments, it really warms my heart when people will say things like, how do you only have so and so amount of subscribers, or how does this video only have so many views? Because your content is legendary. And then they'll put a comparison in where they'll put me up there with some of the top Fallout YouTubers. And an example is I've been compared with Synonymous. I've been compared with Brad King. I've been compared with Oxhorn. Most people say that when I very first started, a lot of people used to say I was an Oxhorn clone, which is kind of a roast, because I'm not an Oxhorn fan personally. and he is like the antithesis to me in terms of like our beliefs when it comes to like Fallout. And so I was kind of like, I didn't really appreciate those ones that much, but it was still an honor to me because he is, been such a staple for a long time. I've been compared to Shoddycast a few times, which to me that's huge because Shoddycast, like in general, his quality of content is really good. So to me, where I'm like doing these videos from scratch and just grinding it out, to have a viewer watch it and be like, wow, you're like this guy and that guy's really good, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you.
Yeah, dude, I freaking, that's awesome, dude. I love that videos. The one I think there was the one in the Divide. If I'm not, I don't know, I can't remember. I just remember like the intro in my head, and I was like, damn, that was a sick ass intro of Shoddycast.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Nothing's coming to mind like right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, my so like the negative ones that I get are they're always hilarious. Very few comments have ever like offended me. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever been like offended by a comment, right? Because normally people will comment something and I'm like the Picard meme where I'm like just hand over my face, shaking my head, just like, why? So my favorite type of those comments are when people will say something based on like my title or my thumbnail or whatever, and they'll make a judgment about the video without watching it. And it's even funnier when they're like, I haven't watched this yet, but I can already tell you X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, bro, just watch the video. like, honestly, it's less than 20 minutes, homie. Just put it on, like, do the dishes or whatever. Hear my point first before you instantly start like attacking it, right? And because I do a lot of these like speculation videos, like why Caesar's Legion always wins, or why the Brotherhood of Steel always wins, or what happens to the Great Khans after the events of New Vegas, or does Caesar survive without courier intervention? Like all of these topics, they can be very like people can get really quick to like judge them, right? So there's a comment I got recently that just cracks me up. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It is essentially this dude, and I don't know if you watched the video, but he called me a fanboy, and I love it when they do that. Yeah, so the comment is, he dies and the Legion follows. A Legion fanboy can't understand that.
Yeah, but it's if you think about it, that's just not how it works.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of this is speculative anyway, right? It's like, we don't have answers. The writers purposely left it vague, regardless of who you side with. So
yeah, it's the whole.
Yeah, like another thing too that I get constantly like roasted on is I'm like, well, let's say that the NCR, if you do the NCR ending for New Vegas and they beat the Legion at Hoover Dam and push them back to the other side of the dam, there's a certain amount of events that have to happen in order for them to be able to like successfully then start pushing into Arizona. And like, for instance, Caesar would have to die and Legate Linnaeus would have to die. And then the NCR would stand a chance to like push into Arizona. But the thing is, and this is where I constantly get roasted, is I think they would immediately be halted, because you have to think, if the NCR loses the battle at the dam, do you think the Legion could then push into California? Most people think no. Yeah, most people think that they can't, right? And I would agree to like, I don't think they would be able to march in on force. But I do think that they would be able to launch a successful campaign against the NCR following the post-game events. Whereas like with when the counter to that is the NCR pushes into Arizona, I don't necessarily think that they would like wipe the floor with the Legion right away. Because granted, a significant amount of forces were dedicated to the Second Battle of Hoover Dam. if the Legion loses, it's going to get absolutely crushed, but it's not going to immediately fall apart. There's still plenty of military power that nation has, and like people like to bring in character dialogue a lot when they're talking about this too. And one of the things that no one ever mentions is Hanlon, the leader of the Rangers, talks a lot about Caesar's Legion and is one of the primary like firsthand sources of lore for characters like Joshua Graham, Legate Lanius. He's the one who talks about the Red Oki Centuria of the Caesar's like veteran legionaries. And so you get a lot of information from him. And one thing that he says is that the Legion it's like bigger than Caesar. You know, it has so much momentum, thousands upon thousands of men behind it. And so just beating the Legion in one battle is not going to stop it. You have to continuously beat the Legion. And
the thing about the Legion is it's total war conflict. It's total war. So they're going all out, you know?
Yeah, they'll dedicate all their resources almost entirely. If Caesar lives, for sure they will, and if Caesar dies, for sure they will. And if Linnaeus dies, you know, I'm not so sure like how effective they'll be as a fighting force, because Linnaeus is like the symbol of the Legion's might, so it might demoralize them pretty hard, but they would still be sent to fight, right? And the thing about the Legion too is it has more than one legate. Like the way that the game's written kind of gives you the impression that Linnaeus is the only legate in the Legion and Caesar is the only leader. But both of those are fallacies and very far from the actual truth. And the actual truth is that the Legion has several legates. It's mentioned by several different characters in the game, even. Like that there are other legates. And I won't give too much away, but I'm almost positive that Caesar has an heir to his throne. I'm going to do a video on this soon, so I don't want to reveal too much.
Okay, got that, yeah. I want to say, too, is... damn it, I forgot. Oh, well, so if you...
Okay.
The thing... Okay, no, I remembered it. Forget the word soup I just made. That was rough.
Word soup sounds delicious.
Dude, it does. The little SpaghettiOs with the letters. Anyways,
Yeah.
The thing about the NCR and the Legion, the biggest weaknesses they have is their ambition to control everything they see. Because they want to just expand, right? And the NCR, it's expanding, but it can barely freaking take care of the people that it has in its own borders. There's lots of corruption and all that. And I think that if they were to focus internally before they just went to go seize and grab power, like, come on, they're going stupid by just growing as fast as they are. And a person that I'd like to mention for that is Marcus. He talks about how they just want to spread and grab everything, but they're not even worried about the people inside their own territories. And that's a huge flaw.
Absolutely.
So it would hurt them if they were to try to take over Arizona as well. Not only would it be a battle, but even if they were successful, it would screw them up as well. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, and even then it's a gamble, you know, because like I think the only way to defeat the Legion decisively is to continuously press them and like cause them to expend resources, because you know they're like a perpetual motion machine. Right, so if you can set them up in a way to where they are consistently taking casualties, they're consistently separated from their supply lines, they're like not able to recruit new members, and they're dying faster than they can breed, then you can logically beat them fairly easily. However, the NCR, even in the event that you do like an NCR ending, they're still not in a position to then invade Arizona.
Yeah, it's too much.
Right.
And you got even in Vegas, they're having so much trouble where they're at now. Mm-hmm. And even when they're not fighting the Legion, they're fighting the Great Khans, you know, they're getting smoked by, what is it, Prim. They can't even capture Prim. It's pretty weak. I got to be honest with you.
Right. And it's also like pretty bleak. Like if you were to do all those side quests and stabilize the Mojave region for them, and then beat back the Legion at the dam, all that's going to do is inspire them to then become more imperialistic and start taking more resources and basically like mirroring the Legion's perpetual motion. And that's all that's going to do is just waste their men and waste their resources. They really do need to turn inward and focus on the stability of their regions. Now, the point that I was going to make earlier that I didn't end up getting to is that there are two outcomes that can happen with this realistically. If they beat back the Legion at the dam and then focus internally on stabilizing the Mojave, two things can happen. The thing that everyone thinks is going to happen is that the Legion will devolve into tribes, because that's what Ulysses said is going to happen. But I don't see evidence for that at all. And I don't think that would happen from a logical standpoint. What will likely happen is that the successors to the Legion, the next legate, the heir to Caesar's throne, they're going to take over, and they'll either stay unified or, maybe they'll fracture and into like two separate factions, which there is some evidence for. But I think more than likely they will stay unified, and they'll just build strength. The thing with the Legion is the longer you leave it, the stronger it gets. So the NCR, by winning that battle at the dam, they're kind of forced into a situation where they're gambling. They can either expend more troops and more resources and spread themselves even thinner by pushing into Arizona and seeing if they can't cut the head off the snakes, so that way it's no longer a threat. Or they can do the smart option, turn inward, fortify their border along the Colorado, train up more men, garner more resources, and just hope to God that the Legion doesn't, get super powerful in the meantime and launch a counterattack, essentially. So, yeah, in other words, that's kind of going to be like a big L if the Legion gets super powerful and then counterattacks.
In a good situation.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say though, real quick, is the thing about NPCs is everyone, for some reason, takes their words as if they're the all-knowing, omniscient freaking wizard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They usually like to quote them and say, yeah, well, since they said that, that's true. And that's not. You gotta think about it from a real world standpoint. Like, if someone you trust, like a politician or something, they say something, that's not gonna mean it's true.
Exactly.
And so you gotta be careful when you listen to those guys, is what I'd like to say.
The whole point of like character statements and in general, and I know this is more so for the listeners who may be on the fence about whether or not they should take character statements. Character statements are an indicator, and in games like Fallout New Vegas, they're more so meant to like help you get an idea of how something works rather than to be taken as like cold hard fact. So Marcus has one interpretation, and a lot of people are like, well, why we should trust Marcus because he's A, 200 years old, B, has like ran towns before, and C, used to be part of the Master's army, which was similar to Caesar's Legion. So clearly Marcus knows, right? But he's a mutant, but he's human, right? He has the same human factor that other characters have and that real world people have. It's not that he's infallible. And the same could be said about any Legion characters. If they say one thing is a certain way, like Caesar, I definitely would take everything every character says with a grain of salt, but do absorb the philosophies. Try. The whole point of New Vegas is to be exposed to as much information as possible, so that way you can make your own decision based on your own morals and your own ethics.
And it's hard.
It's
really hard. Because it's kind of a pick your poison kind of situation. Do you want Yes Man, who could possibly stab you in the back, shady robot? Do you want Mr. House, who's kind of a And the thing about Mr. House is he thinks he's so cool. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to bring back old world Vegas. It's going to be so much better. It's going to be more stable than the NCR. But he hires cannibals. He hires people to represent gang bosses in the mafia. It's like, bro, you're just kind of screwing up your own plan here.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I made a similar point in my videos about the families of New Vegas. Because
yeah, and that's what I'm referencing, honestly.
Oh, well, my heart is so warm.
Dude, I listened to that video. I think it was twice, but once in the shower. And when I highly recommend watching lore videos in the shower, because that's when you can absorb so much of it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's where I was like, he's got all this, but he's kind of a dumbass. Like, he's talking about how he's so good. He's going to make the perfect utopia, right? He mentions he wants to make it. It's going to be better. If you want democracy, look out the window or something like that.
Right.
And it's just like, but you're literally hiring people, not hiring them, but I guess, how would you say it? Not hiring, but anyways, it doesn't matter. He's having those people work for him, but it's just going to cause corruption, because you don't hire the mafia if you want a stable area.
Yeah, I mean, that's an argument that you could make, though. Playing the devil's advocate here, there's always like two sides to a coin. There's the side of justice, like your community servants, your first responders, your police force, etc. And then there's the side of injustice, which you could look at as like the mob or the mafia. In the real world, you can't have one without the other. If society over the course of history has taught us anything, you need both. So in my head, like him hiring the Omertas and being like, okay, you guys are going to be the seedy underbelly, and I'm going to be like, I'll basically just control you through that. So that's like, if you were a dictator, which Mr. House is, don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
you would want to have control of the mafia, and there have been societies throughout history that have had close ties and close connections with the mob in their own town. In fact, ancient Rome is actually a really good example of a society that was closely tied with the mafia. Because like the mafia in Rome, from what I remember, now I haven't researched this in a while, but from what I remember, they were essentially like the police force in a certain period. I want to say like the Republic period. And they would work for some of the higher ups in the Roman government, essentially keeping order. But they, also did shady, illegal things. But from what I gather from like ancient Rome, the wealthy didn't really care as long as they were getting brought more money and more assets.
Yeah, so corruption.
Right. Yeah, the Roman Republic was very corrupt in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So, like, yeah, you could argue that you need to have a seedy underbelly, and that Mr. House just had the foresight to be like, well, I need you guys to be the mafia, essentially. But the tribe that he had do that was disgusting. I would have just wiped them out.
Honestly. And he's got all the Securitrons. I don't know why he needs the mafia to regulate order when you got all those robots, like a dystopian future. Well, I guess he does need the platinum chip to get all of them, but he's already got a decent amount.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a numbers thing. Like the games can be kind of deceiving because of how many sprites you can have in one cell, essentially. So
yeah.
The Omertas, they look like a group. There's like 3 leaders. There's maybe like 20 gang members, and they got a casino. But like in reality, the Omertas are probably like thousands and thousands of people in that like group. I would be guessing. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure though that like Mr. House only has a few hundred Securitrons, and then at max, like if you get the ones from under the fort, he only has like a couple thousand. So every time one of those things goes down, he's losing power in a significant chunk. So it would be beneficial to have several groups of people that all work for him, that all have their own identities, so that way they're not like, especially if they're opposed to the other factions around them, they wouldn't be like teaming up for a coup kind of thing.
Is your best guess that the NCR takes over Vegas? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was talking about the why Mr. House decided to have the factions instead of just running everything through the Securitrons. Now, my best guess, so I'm pretty sure that the canon ending of the game is the NCR ending of the game. Like, if you were to have to pick one, I'm pretty sure that's it. But I'm almost positive that the realistic ending of the game would be a Caesar's Legion victory, just based on the information provided and the way that the Fallout world works.
Yeah. And he wants you to hire like the boomers and stuff. And I can't remember. You're gonna have to catch me up. Does the NCR like actively pursue the boomers?
Yeah. So like the in-game quests are relatively similar for the Legion and the NCR. The boomers is one of the ones that they like vie for power over. And yeah, I can't remember like off the top of my head what the what like who else the NCR wants, but you can get a lot of people on the side of the NCR. Like, you can convince the kings to settle things in Freeside. You can get the followers of the apocalypse to provide aid. Obviously, you can do the Enclave remnants to get them to help. There's the boomers. You could settle things with the Great Khans. You could do a treaty with the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, I think in terms of like seeing your hard work throughout the game, interacting with all these different factions, the NCR ending is probably the most satisfying. There's just a lot of things that you can do that show up at the final battle of the Dam.
But it's just so hard for me because I'm a big Brotherhood of Steel sympathizer. I love them, and yeah, I feel like the ones inside New Vegas, I feel so bad. Like they got it the worst. And now I have to go in there and blow them all up. It's like, I'm not going to do that. That's just terrible.
Right.
So that's like the only reason I haven't done a Mr. House ending. It would be, Yes Man was my first, and then I realized it was kind of a bad idea. And then now I'm doing NCR. And then I'd probably do Legion, or not Legion, Mr. House after that. But I try to think of it from a perspective of, if I was a civilian, not if I was the leader, if I was the civilian, what is the best options for me? And there's not many good options.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on what you want. I mean, I know like a lot of people, they want the NCR ending because that's what they recognize, like this game is really popular in Western cultures and in European cultures, and the NCR is based on pre-war America, which is a offshoot of European culture, and it's a pretty predominant Western culture. So I understand entirely why people would want that, because it's familiar and quote unquote good.
With the NCR and the Legion, it's almost like, and I know I could be wrong for saying this, I don't really care, it's my personal opinion, is I look at them as if they're almost the same thing. They're very similar. And we were talking about this last night, especially with Tandy's rule. Like you were saying, how brutal she was. You go in there and you can handle however you want with the Great Khans, but at the end of the day, she's gonna destroy them all.
Yeah.
So.
And to further that point, so was President Kimball. When he was General Kimball, handled tribes the exact same way Tandy did. Like, he stabilized the NCR borders in the Mojave region by force.
Yeah, it's the Legion at least put them to good use. You can grow our army, not just eradicate them. But
right,
obviously they do eradicate them sometimes. Like the first tribe we went against, right? Didn't they slaughter them? This is from your video too, I must say. Yeah, they slaughtered them. Thanks. And they piled their bodies high as yo, frick around, find out.
Yeah, they essentially made an example out of them. It's a really harsh way of like doing things when you're talking about like human beings. But if you think about it, it makes sense. You're living in this like brutal wasteland. These people, they have absolutely no reason to join your faction or to help you, and they were actively like at war with you at the time, and so you have to convince them so that way they don't eradicate your entire tribe, right? So you kill one of your enemies and just absolutely decimate them, and then use that as an example of, hey, fuck around and find out, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It makes sense. It's terrible, but it makes sense.
Yeah, well, war is never good. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss when they're interpreting this game. They're like, you know, we want the NCR because they kill people the way we like people to be killed, you know?
Bitterspring.
Hashtag bitter springs. No, that's... You get what I mean, though, right? Like, war is never good. Yeah. People dying, people getting tortured, like families being separated, whole villages being burnt to ash. Like, it's not a good thing, and it never will be a good thing. And people need to stop pretending that like certain countries can do war better. You know, I think that the way that Caesar's Legion did things was probably the best. They killed a lot of people, but they also saved a lot of people. You know, we don't get exact numbers, but think about how many tribals that the NCR eradicated because they had a no diplomacy policy.
Yeah, they eradicated them. That's what I was saying, is they eradicated them while the Legion put them to good use. You know, you can use these people to help yourself with your faction, and it's sparing their lives. Yes, it might suck for them because they have to be slaves now.
Right.
But,
and
I mean, and then there's the whole quote of...
There's there's no guarantee that they'll live either. I mean, it's like, what do you prefer now? Like, what do you prefer, death now or death later in slavery? You know, and I think though that a lot of people, and we'll move on. I just want to make this one point to kind of like wrap this up. I think a lot of people think that the tribals think like we do, and they probably don't, because they grew up in a harsh wasteland with mutated creatures and poisoned food and poisoned water. And someone comes along and they're like, hey, you have two choices. You either fight for me or we kill your entire tribe. They're probably stoked because now they have access to better food, better water. They get to do basically what they had been doing, which was fighting and hunting and stuff. But now they get to do it in a unit. And I know a lot of tribes, like canonically, they don't want to join, but it's probably not a terrible life for them, right? It's not like it would be if I were to use the NCR as an example. A guy grows up in relative safety and he's like in a farming family, and you know, he's got lots of his mother and father and lots of siblings, and then all of a sudden the NCR comes knocking on his door and they're like, hey, we're going to conscript you and give you no training and send you to the fucking desert. You know, like that dude's probably not happy because he grew up kind of the way that we did, right? Like with a better life, safer life, more opportunity than those tribals that basically like they're getting a step up in life by joining the Legion.
Definitely. That's a good way to think of it, because I haven't really, you know, thought of it in that scenario, and that's a good way of thinking of it.
It's not like a common thing for people to think about like what the psychology of these, you know, video game characters would be like, right? But as someone who like studied psychology in college, I can't help but think about that. Like what are these people like from a social perspective, and how does this new system benefit them? And that's just the tribals. Like the people in the towns, bro, they get all the good stuff. You know, they get free power, free water, free food, free security, and all they have to do is not run astray of the Legion, which isn't as hard as it would seem. You know, people think that the towns and Legion territories, they have to follow all the strict rules of the Legion military, and that's just not the case. There's probably like a bill or something with like a set of rules on it that's like, hey, don't don't deal drugs, don't sell Legion information to the enemies. Always listen to the legionaries when they're there, and we won't kill you. You know?
And you got to think of it as, if you're a complete dickhead and you're ruling it like terribly, if it's so terrible, that why would they work for you? Why would they? Eventually, they're just going to rebel. And yes, I know that if you have a complete totalitarian government, you know, like let's say China, and all your people, you'll be, oh, you want to fight back, we'll kill you. But that's not a good way to run it, and that'll eventually collapse. But I feel like the Legion, as the way Caesar kind of presented it, how I kind of felt like he was saying, is it's kind of kick-ass because you get really good protection. The inside is corrupt, as per se the NCR. Because if you've played, you know, Fallout 2 and stuff, there's shady folks inside the NCR, and it just seems like it would be a nice place, especially because I believe it was Cassidy. She says that these trade routes are extremely safe, safer than the NCR trade routes. And that's got to be a testament to how the internal system of the Legion is ran.
Absolutely. Yeah, the amount of safety is, as unrealistic as that amount of safety is, it's still like canon, you know. That's the amount of safety they've been able to achieve. So we have to take it as that.
It'd be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, never discount, like, if people are being treated badly, they will rebel. And if we're talking about the Legion, we're talking about Rome. And Rome was crippled by rebellions the entire time it was an empire. There were so many rebellions throughout the course of Roman history that there were more times where people were in rebellion than there were times where people were not. And so, like, when Caesar talks about the Pax Romana in New Vegas,
What is that?
So that's a Latin term for Roman peace, and that refers to a time in Roman history, the time of the 5 emperors. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but it's like Augustus, Tiberius, Aurelius. Aurelian was later. There's 2 more in between Tiberius and Aurelian that I can't remember the name of right now. But essentially, that was a time of like economic prosperity for the empire, and they did a lot to like increase, you know, cash flow and build upon their infrastructure. And I want to say, I can't remember, so someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I want to say that was a period of time where there was the least amount of rebellions. Like, leading up to that point, like 100 years prior to that, is when the Spartacus Rebellion took place. And that was like a series of 3 separate rebellions.
I want to say this right now to all the listeners and to you. I know jack crap compared to you in history. My knowledge for history kind of starts around, you know, American Revolution, tiny bit of the Civil War, and then World War I and World War II a bit. I know practically nothing when it comes to Rome and stuff. So I'm learning right now. If I'm really quiet, it's because I'm learning, and I really appreciate all the knowledge you're giving me. So keep going. It's
just
good.
make sure you fact check everything I say, because I can't always remember. Like, I studied a little bit of this stuff in college, but most of it's been on my free time, and I don't talk to anyone about it, so I tend to forget like specifics pretty often, because like I don't have any way of cementing it in my head. So like whenever I do a video where I'm doing comparisons, I have to like research stuff I already know just to make sure that I'm saying the right things.
Not full. Yes, and listeners, if you hear us say something wrong, please call us out. I don't know. I'm sure this is how you feel, Cypher. I'm not going to try to talk to you. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
You call me out, I'll put you on a cross.
Yeah. If you call me out and you have genuine criticism of something, you know, I'm saying something wrong, or it's not. When I say wrong, I don't mean it's opinionated. I mean, if it's factually wrong, then please do so. Let me know. That way I can fix it. You know, I want to be knowing what I'm saying. So, yeah.
For real.
For real. But you were on the Pax Romana. You were
Yeah.
talking about the 5.
That was it, essentially. So, like, Caesar's Legion hasn't really been around super long. I anticipate that they will have their fair share of rebellions, though, just because, like, look at how many rebellions, quote unquote, rebellions are in America right now. Like, a few years ago, almost every major city in the entire country was, like, rioting. There were, like, millions of people rioting, which isn't really a rebellion, but I mean, it's close enough for modern terms. And yeah, I think we have it pretty good here in America, you know, so.
We do, yeah.
Even when things are great, people are still not happy.
That's how it always is. And people say you can always look at something and say you can have it worse. And then there's always the feeling that you got to strive for better. And that's the striving for better is always good. You don't want to strive. You don't want to do too much, you know, where you destroy everything that's good because you're looking for better. But yeah, and so for the Legion, I feel like they're pretty good, but not. Let me backtrack on that. Pretty good as in safety wise, but
you're like I support all of Legion ideals. They're pretty good.
their Legion's pretty cool, pretty chill. You should like join them or something.
Yeah, here let me talk to like Big Daddy Caesar and see if he can't get you your own coin. You know, get you a mark of Caesar.
Yeah, he'll hook you up. He'll hook you up, dog.
For sure.
But the thing is any civilization with slaves, I mean, it's gonna eventually, you know, not work, because you can't have slaves for everything, because eventually people are gonna be like, hey, slavery's bad, let's not do that. So I'd imagine, do you think Caesar's Legion would ever move on from slavery, or do you think it's kind of built into them?
I absolutely do. And at the very least, I mean, they might always have slavery, but there might be a different, like, they might change how they do it. So like currently everyone in the Legion is a slave except for Caesar. They are all his slaves. Let's not get that like confused, right? He has a slave army, he has a slave breeding force, he has a slave cult of Mars, and everyone who's subjugated in his lands is essentially in one way or another a slave as well. And there's like a more esoteric side of things we could get into if we're like, big government enslaves you, but I'm not trying to be the Caesar's Legion Alex Jones right now, so we'll just leave that alone. Not save that one for later.
Yes. Yeah. We'll all go on our tangents every once in a while.
Yeah. So
the thing is, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. The way they do things right now is like you are enslaved for life, and you have to do basically whatever you say. Whatever Caesar says. The way they did things in Rome was a little bit different, and it changed throughout the course that they were a society, because Rome was an empire the way that we know it for 1,000 years, and it extended beyond that for another 1,000 years as it was the Byzantine Empire. So throughout the course of that 2,000-year time period, things changed a lot, right? But like Caesar's Legion is based on the end of the Republic era. And at the end of the Republic era in Roman history, slaves could buy their freedom, essentially. They worked, they made money, they were able to save that money up. And it was pretty common for them, in like, I think 10 years it would take on average to save up enough money to buy your freedom. You would have to, what was that?
I was gonna say that's not bad. Like compared to other places for slavery, that's not bad. If you become a slave and you just got to work 10, I mean, I know that's still bad, but compared, it's not that bad.
Right. And you know, a lot of people think, like, when they think slavery, they think like working in the cotton fields and having some dude like whip you and underfeed you and stuff. That's not entirely the case for Roman slavery specifically. Like, they were used for manual labor. Let's not get that wrong. Like, you know, these people who owned thousands of slaves had massive estates. They needed people to cook. They needed people to clean. They needed people to harvest crops. They needed tons and tons of labor. So, but they were generally treated like pretty well, you know. Our records kind of indicate that there was a general mindset amongst the Roman people to not like abuse slaves in their stead, as that could then lead to rebellions like the Spartacus rebellion. Spartacus was a gladiator, and gladiators for the most part were slaves as well. So
yeah, but not all of them were. That was a common misconception that I knew for a while, is not every gladiator was a slave. They wanted to do it because they could make money.
right.
And I didn't know that for a while.
Yeah, it was a profession you could do, or like if you like had a debt to pay off, you could temporarily enslave yourself to pay off that debt, kind of thing.
Low key, pretty sick.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, we're basically like wage slaves. I mean, we can't really like just not work, right? Because I guess we could not work, live in a tent outside someone's house.
No, thank you. I'm good. Then you're a slave to survival.
I suppose so, yeah. Your Maslow's hierarchy just dropped down to the base level.
Just gone, reduced to atoms.
Yeah, reduced. So to wrap up what I'm saying though, is like slaves were overall they were treated pretty well, essentially like you would treat a butler or a maid or a nanny or something. That doesn't mean that they were always treated well. Abuse was rampant. Sexual abuse was rampant. And it was a different culture, though. So, you know, what we look at as sexual abuse was like common for them. That doesn't make it any better. But it's an important context to have, like when you're thinking about you're thinking about Roman Republic slavery. But essentially, okay. You survive your tenureship, and let's say nothing bad ever happened to you. You saved up money. You got approval from the person who owns you to buy your freedom. Then you go buy your freedom, and now you are a freedman, which is it's funny because that's like the actual name of the class, because like Rome was a class system, you know, so like freedman was bottom of the barrel. You were a slave, you're no longer a slave, boom, now you're a freedman. Now you can like work, and you have experience from working in your owner's estate, so you could do whatever it was that they had you do. And you could even, like a lot of people, they would buy their freedom and then they would just keep working for their lord because they have free lodging, free food, and they make a wage. So a lot of slaves would do that. Some would strike it out on their own. Maybe they would try to move back home to their native province or whatever. But another thing that slaves got sometimes was Romification. So they learn the language, they learn the culture and the customs, and it's essentially like education without it being a school. So there were a lot of like benefits that they would get. It's not like how we would imagine slavery, where you get stuck in a hole and you're taken out like every couple hours to work the fields for like 16 hours straight and then thrown back in the hole with like no food, no water, no clothes, and you're constantly just like whipped, right? That is not how slavery worked in Rome. But seeing as how this is kind of like Caesar's inspiration, I could see him implementing a similar system once he synthesizes with the NCR. So he could say like, hey, we've done it, we've beat the antithesis to my thesis. We have Rome, now we need to turn inward and focus on infrastructure. So I bet he would allow a lot of his veterans to retire, take wives, and then do a lot to stabilize the legion and turn it from this nomadic raiding army to a fully fledged society. And I think there's a lot of evidence for that, just beyond the fact that that's what he says he wants to do anyway, so I couldn't imagine that he wouldn't.
And it's not like he lies.
Right, he's pretty honest, yeah.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say too is civilization, and I don't care what you think about this, and if you look anywhere, any civilization, any of that, civilization is built on slaves. America, Rome, Egypt. You know, if you're going to have a civilization, how are you going to build it without being an asshole? You know,
pretty much every civilization has had slaves at some point. It's only in recent times that we've decided that, like, hey, we don't want that, right?
Yeah,
and I should state for the record, because I've talked a lot about it, and I don't want to like twist anyone's panties. I am anti-slavery. I do not believe in slavery, and I do not think it is a good thing. So
no, there's no reason to think it is.
Yeah,
because if you think slavery is good, imagine yourself as the slave. That's how you got to think about anything. If you think something's good, imagine yourself as the thing you're imagining. So it's like, come on, that's not. No one would want to be a slave, so therefore, why should it be good? But what I'm saying is, you don't want slavery. If you're a new civilization, slavery is going to be the easiest way to build you up. And that's what I'm assuming the Legion is doing currently. They're building themselves. They're getting prepared to fight the NCR. You know, they're fighting them, but they're getting prepared for the Hoover Dam and all that. So I'm wondering, once whatever that resolves itself, however you want to say it, I feel like they'd move past slavery because they no longer require it, and it'd be probably more beneficial to their society as a whole to eradicate slavery.
Exactly. And, you know, more to the point that I was saying as well, because we agree on this, is that like a lot of people will say that, you know, the Legion, they have to keep like fighting somebody. And so like once they beat the NCR, they'll collapse inward on themselves. But I don't see that being the case. They're like that now because they were specifically sharpened that way by Caesar in order to strike at the NCR. But once the NCR is defeated and once New Vegas is taken, I am positive that Caesar would turn internally and stabilize things, turn them from an army to like a full society. And so I can't like imagine that they, under any circumstance, would turn inward on themselves, even if Linnaeus was in charge. Because while we see in like the post-game ending slides that the rule of the Legion under Linnaeus is very different compared to Caesar, it's similar enough that you could argue that with more territory, and especially with Linnaeus's strategic brain, that they would eventually stabilize. Because I don't think he wants the Legion to fall apart around him, even if all he wants to do is be, you know, just like a warlord, essentially.
Yeah, and even a warlord wants to remain in control. You can't be in control if you have nothing left. And the thing about the Legion is, I heard I think it was Oxhorn. He was saying the reason they would die is because they'd want to fight. They'd fight the NCR. They're built on war. All they can do is war. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think once they destroy the NCR, and the reason they're fighting the NCR is because they're a huge threat to them. If they weren't a threat, well, they'd probably still attack them. I don't know, but it's because they are a threat to them that they're going all out. If they weren't a threat, I feel like they'd be focusing more on internalizing, because that's what were they doing before they found the NCR? Before Ulysses spotted them, they were growing, right? Because they were a new civilization, so they got to grow first, and then they can start stabilizing themselves.
Yeah, so
kinda
essentially
like America.
Yeah, and like the status quo with the Legion is they expand into an area. So like they'll expand into, say, Utah. They're like, they go into an area, they find tribals, and then they're like, hey, you can join the Legion or we'll kill you. And 90% of the time, the tribals are like, wow, you're a dick. And so they fight, get absolutely bodied by the Legion. So everyone who survives is either killed or enslaved based on Caesar's discretion. Like the Whitelegs, for instance, want to join the Legion, but Caesar will never let that happen. So once he's done using them, he just eradicates them anyways.
And they're bad guys, though. I hate the Whitelegs.
Yeah, the Whitelegs kind of suck. But like the Great Khans, they're a good example. So like Caesar likes the Great Khan, so he'll allow them to join the Legion. You know, he'll kill the old and enslave the young, and anyone who doesn't make for a good fit in society will get killed off, essentially, and the rest get absorbed into the Legion to boost their ranks. So now the Legion owns this territory that used to belong to the tribe. So I think what they do is they'll like go in and kind of salt the earth and and just move on, right? So now they've got more people. Now they're exploring more territory. When they come across towns, they plant a little Legion banner and they're like, hey, this is our territory now, don't cross us, kind of thing. And they just do that perpetually. They like raid the countryside, and I don't exactly know much about their chances of setting up permanent stability in terms of like supply lines, like whether they got farms or any sort of agriculture. But they for sure live off the land, and you can tell based on all the different like tonics and tinctures that they'll have, and food. So they raid and pillage and expand out that way.
Yeah, they're a survivalist type of thing, and it works out pretty well. I'd imagine in my eyes, I don't even question that they have large scale agricultural systems. They have to. They're feeding an army, and in Arizona, you'd have to, because there's not like you can be hunting for wildlife and all that. For food, you're going to have a large agriculture system.
Right. And what I think happens is they'll like rock up into a town that maybe has like a farm or something, and they'll essentially just take what resources the farmers have to like help feed the army. But they would have to be doing something to boost that yield, or else the farmers wouldn't have food for themselves. And we know for sure that in Legion territories, people have unlimited access to food, water, and electricity. So the Legion has to be doing something. They're doing something behind the scenes to improve their infrastructure. And actually, in New Vegas, when you kill the NCR at Helios 1, the Legion takes over. And you might ask yourself, well, why? What interest would they have in Helios 1? Caesar won't even send his legionaries down into the Securitron vault because he would have to kill them after they saw the technology that was down there, So why would he send legionaries to Helios 1 unless he anticipated that he would need it for power? Just a thought.
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking of it. And I always thought it was kind of dumb. It kind of really pissed me off when Caesar wanted me to blow up all the Securitrons. But from his point of view, technology weakens you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of based. I got to be honest. It's kind of based.
Right.
You've got a point.
It's I would say realistically, it's probably not great though. Like if he was really concerned, if this were the real world, he absolutely should have taken advantage of those Securitrons. But I get the philosophy behind it,
Yeah, at least he's a man of his word.
Exactly.
I mean, personally, I would put those bastards to good use.
Right.
One thing I wanted to say, though, is the Legion's not dumb. They're not the White Legs where they raid everyone until, oh my god, why is no one going on these roads anymore? Probably because you kill everyone that goes there, dumbasses. How are you going to... And then they fall apart. The Legion knows how to stabilize itself, so it makes sense that they would have... Everyone wants to put the Legion as their bad guys they kill, and they're like, yeah, well, this is ours now. It's like, well, no, they probably think about it in a respectful way. That you farmers, you guys make food for us, we'll protect you. And that's how I'd imagine it would go. It's not like they're going to raid them. Oh my god, why are they not giving us food anymore? Why'd they all die? It's not going to be like that.
Yeah,
so
I'm right there with you. I mean, it's not spelled out for us in the game. These are like logical deductions we have to make, but it's not that far of a stretch to think that, if this massive army of people is existing in these territories, that they have something to stabilize themselves. Like, you got to eat every day. Most people eat like several pounds of food a day. So think about that.
Exactly. And then do they know how to... I'm sure they know how, but I'm trying to think of it right now. If I was playing Fallout New Vegas, I would know. Do they know how to like take care of Brahmin like the NCR do?
I can't imagine they don't. I mean, you got to think like most tribes know how to take care of things.
That's
Brahmin or Bighorners or whatever.
You can't move that all in person. I know there's slaves with big ass bags on their back going
Yeah, right.
up and down the floor. But I'd imagine
they are the Brahmin.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I hope they're just not. It's not just them that are the Brahmin, but
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
In like a historical context, Roman legions had entire outfits of not just slaves to like carry supplies, but they used mules and stuff to carry supplies. So they probably do. We don't see any in game from what I remember, but they almost certainly have some sort of pack animals. At the very least, animals that they use for butchering and slaughtering. Because like you see at the fort, they're eating a Brahmin. Like it's being cooked, and they got Brahmin steaks and stuff on the plates and stuff.
Yeah, so they definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Damn. Now I want the chariots that they were gonna have. Do you know those? Have you seen those? The scrapped content?
Yeah. I think that would have been wild.
But does it kind of go against their philosophy though, because of technology?
I don't think they're anti-technology. I think they use what technology benefits them. You know, because like they still use guns. The Praetorian Guard use ballistic fists. They do that deal with the Van Graffs to get like energy weapons and stuff. So they're clearly not opposed to technology. It just has to be for the right purpose, I think.
Yeah, they as long as it won't destroy them. Because if you think about it, it's kind of shady to have all those thousands of robots if you're not 100% sure on how to control them. If they could turn around and F you up, that's definitely a threat right there.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it from their perspective. And then another thing is, you were saying they have electricity within their cities, and I think a lot of us overlook that. A lot of us overthink that, oh, the NCR or not the NCR, the Legion technology's bad. It's like, no, because they, like you said, ballistic fists. And then for their cities, if you want to run an efficient city, you're going to want to use electricity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, their infrastructure is a lot more built than like what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that like people in Legion cities live in like dilapidated buildings, wearing like destitute clothes, and I don't know, maybe sleeping in tents or something. But that's not the case at all. They have like the subjugated territories are full on cities. You know, they have all the things they need to be like a successful community.
The thing that shocks me a lot about the Legion is, I'm from Arizona, for the listeners that don't know, and Phoenix is huge. And the fact that they've conquered Phoenix, right? They have that as, it's one of their bases. And I'm not sure why they chose Flagstaff as their HQ. Probably because it's really cool and it's like nice temperature. You know, you get the pine trees.
It's central to it's central to their empire.
Then that's, yeah, right there, big brain. Oh yeah, and it's right next to the Grand Canyon, which is where they started. Yeah, so never mind, that makes sense. But the fact that let's just think about this for power-wise. Raul spoke of Arizona being so filled with raiders, you could hardly walk, what was it, a mile?
2 miles.
And so, 2 miles. So the fact that they were even able to conquer Phoenix is just insane. Because the NCR, like, how long did it take them to take over the Boneyard, right? The LA Boneyard that was full of death claws and stuff. They had to have the Vault Dweller.
I don't
know how long it takes. But...
It's a good
and they
question.
had guns and stuff, like lots of guns. Plus the Vault Dweller, which everyone knows the Vault Dweller is just Giga Chad on steroids, because he went in and destroyed the Master's army, and then the Chosen One came in. Like the NCR, they literally built a statue for the Vault Dweller because they owe their damn lives to him.
Sure.
Quite literally.
And like more to this point, any of the Fallout protagonists, bro, they're like a force of nature. They are in of themselves an eldritch being.
They are him.
Yeah, the guy.
It's that. Like, it's the guy.
Yeah, you remember like Spy Kids 3? I don't know if you watched that.
No.
So Spy Kids 3, I'll go on a little tangent because it's kind of funny, a little relevant. So there's like they go into this video game to try to save like the main dude's sister or whatever, who's like trapped in one of the levels. And the whole time they're like talking about the guy. And it's like, that's what he's called. And he's supposed to be the one who is like all powerful in this game or whatever. And so they're like talking about it the entire time because the people that the main dude is playing with, they think he's the guy. So like he'll do something cool like flip a motorcycle or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, he's the guy! He's the guy!" And there's always at least one dude who's like, "He's not the guy." But then the guy actually shows up like in the movie, and he's got like 999 lives or something, like just a crazy amount. And he's super, super powerful, and he's in like full on silver armor. It looks pretty cool. And they're all like, "No, I'm the guy."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's any Fallout protagonist right there. Like, I'm the guy.
No, I am. Like Legolas, he's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
I saw a pretty hot take not too long ago about like a theory someone had about the Fallout protagonists, that they are like some sort of supernatural being because they have the ability to respawn.
Yeah. Well, the thing about them is they wouldn't really work in that way other than 76, because when you respawn, the time would go back. So it's not like they're technically respawning, I'd say. They just start their own freaking multiverse.
Right. They have the power of the multiverse in their hands.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well that time didn't work out. We're gonna try this one, and then you could tie that to Skyrim, and you could say there's some ancient deity.
Naturally.
Well, that's how you gotta do it. You just gotta tie it back to Skyrim.
I actually, I have a Skyrim script that I'm working on, and I'm really nervous about it because there is so much Skyrim lore that, like, oh my god, dude. So like normally for a Fallout lore video, I do like 20 hours of research as I'm writing the script. And like I spent 20 hours just reading Skyrim lore. And I was like, good lord.
Oh god, bro.
Yeah, there's so much. Bro, there's so much.
Damn, bro. Well, hey, that just means you're going to be providing very genuine, juicy content.
That's if I can like boil any of this down into like a single point to just like further what I'm saying. Because like I could say something like, "Oh yeah, this faction absolutely decimates that," and then someone are like, "Yeah, but is that in the current Culpic cycle or whatever?" I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know.
God.
Fuck. When did the dragon break happen? I don't know."
Start sweating like it's an exam.
yeah. I'm sweating right now just thinking about it.
Getting anxious. Palms are all sweaty. Oh no, guys, I'm trying.
Mom, spaghetti.
Freaking Slim Shady over here. But yeah, dude, the protagonists are freaking insane. The one protagonist that's not really is not as special as Fallout Tactics, the rookie or the recruit. I think I just mentioned Halo 3 ODST. I think it's the recruit. And you're just a guy. You're just a dude, or a girl, whatever you want to say. I'm just saying dude because that's who I play with. But you just set out, and you get trained by the Brotherhood, and you get told what to do. And it's more mission based, and it's kind of a neat perspective. Everyone's like, "Oh, that game's trash," but no, I think it's a really cool perspective that you're not some all-knowing crazy dude. No, you're a commander of a squad, and you have to order your guys around. You have to be smart about tactics, and you're not some overpowered demon. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And have you played Fallout Tactics?
I got through like the first 2 levels, but I kept dying, and I was like, this is too hard for me right now. I'm gonna have to revisit this. And then I have not yet, admittedly.
I highly recommend you do. I haven't finished it, but I've gotten pretty damn far. But
yeah,
the thing
I plan to.
And if I had an easier way to play it, I play on my mom's old computer that burns my freaking lap when I have it, and you have to have it charged 24/7 or it'll instantly die. And it incinerates my legs, bro. I feel like a ghoul after freaking playing that. But if I had a better way to play it, dude, I would. But the thing is it's so hard. You have to use tactics, and it's like that's what it would feel like if you or I were in Fallout. That's what it would be. It'd be tough as hell. You'd have to calculate and think about everything. while the protagonists are going around smoking fools.
Bro, if I were in Fallout, none of you would stand a chance because I would die right away.
Dude, I was. If you think about your chances, like, I'd be so pissed, bro. I'd be instantly a slave of Caesar's Legion. I feel like I can have some of my stuff. I have cool guns. You know, my service rifle to be. That's all cool and all, but where am I going to get all the ammo? I have about 1,000 rounds. That's not going to last me too long.
Right, and I mean, like, what are you gonna do if you got like 20 dudes running at you with machetes? You can't shoot all of them at once.
And even if you do, it's 5.56. It's not gonna drop. It's not gonna drop them all in the first shot. It's like, damn.
Yeah, and like, what if you miss, bro? Oh my God! Speaking of which, that reminds me of like one of my least favorite arguments is always like. It's always like, yeah, like bullets will pierce through football pads. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. But like, you have to be able to hit your target, bro. And like, what we know about the NCR service rifles is that they are dog shit. They are like the worst kept weapons in the entire wasteland. I wouldn't be surprised if you like shot and it like immediately just went to the left, you know?
Yeah, you have to have you got to think about this. Adrenaline's pumping. You're a brand new soldier. And a guy's running at you who's more scared of the guys that he's getting commanded by than he is of you.
Right.
It's not a good sight, especially because I think it's called the 20-foot rule. Have you heard about it when it comes to like firearms and stuff?
Yeah. I used to teach self-defense, and that was one of the big rules I went over. I was like, for firearm self-defense, I was like, if you are going to pull your firearm at all, you have to make sure you're outside of that 20-foot radius. Because within 20 feet, by the time you get your firearm pulled and like ready to fire, that person's on you, you know?
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, so
it's really rough. Especially if you got a bunch of those guys running at you.
Right. Yeah, that's typically the case because they'll send their entire like recruit line. They'll be like, all right, here's a dog shit machete and maybe it's some, like a 9mm pistol or whatever. Go rush that flank and kill as many people, or else we'll kill you. And so you're kind of like, well, I really am just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm probably gonna die. So I might as well like try to go out with a bang. And the crazy thing is all of this is after they go through their recruit training. You know, it's not like they just pluck tribals off the street and they're like, all right, here's a machete, go kill them. They have to do several months of recruit training first. And their training is brutal. Like from what I remember, I'm pretty sure it has like a, not a high like casualty rate, but it's not an easy training by any means.
And it's far more elite than the NCR's training, where they just have, you know, some Joe.
Yeah, their training, so by the time of New Vegas, their training's only 2 weeks long for like NCR's conscripts.
Oh God, are you serious?
I'm serious, yeah. So they like get them, and I'm pretty sure they teach them like just how to patrol and how to like shoot their firearm, and then they're like, all right, now you know what you need to know. Get out of here.
That is rough, dude. That is, yeah. No wonder they're getting their ass kicked by dudes in freaking skirts and knives. Come on.
Right.
Like,
so like, while I agree, like, you know, a 5.56 absolutely will pierce like football armor. They have to hit their target. They have to be able to like fire and be cool, calm, and collected, and be able to like effectively work with the team to retreat when their positions get overrun. You know, there's so much more involved in small unit tactics than just like bullets beat leather armor any day, whatever.
Yeah, and the ends. Either if you look at either of their armors, they're not great. They got leather, and then they got football padding. And the courier with no name, he came over recently, and we made some targets out of football armor, right, for the Legion. I don't know if it was football armor. I think it was hockey. But
it's same thing, really.
Very similar. I know ballistics. That bullet is gonna go through the back, and come out the back. You know, it's gonna go right through it. But that's if you hit your shots, like you said. And then the NCR, their armor's not better. It is better, but it's not.
It's not better.
It's not bullet stopping better.
Yeah, for the most part. So their ballistic vests, I can't remember exactly, but I had that information in one of my videos about the NCR, but they're not like, they don't have like a ballistic weave to them. I'm pretty sure they're just like a basic ceramic plate or something.
That was loud. I don't know what that was.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, my bad. Then that was just me. So, yeah, you're effed.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they're wearing all that heavy gear, which I do understand in the Arizona, the desert heat. You do want layers because those will actually, believe it or not, but wearing layers is actually way nice. If you wear like a long sleeve shirt in the sun, you're going to feel a lot less hot than if you were just to do a t-shirt because you're getting that sun off your skin. And that doesn't mean you want to wear a damn leather trench coat, though. That's not going to be fun. Anyways, the thing about the Legion,
for sure.
exactly, yeah, they got that mobility though with their armor.
Right. You know, one thing that like
mobility
drives me insane about the Desert Rangers or the NCR Veteran Ranger armor is how do you see anything in those helmets? You know, like they're cool and they look badass, but they absolutely would tank your peripheral vision, and you would have such a hard time like looking through scopes and shit. Like I can't imagine.
So for all those that don't know about my channel or anything, I do a lot of cosplay, and I wear a helmet, the NCR Ranger helmet, and you can't even shoulder the rifle because I don't know if it's just the model I have from Bethesda where it's really bulky. I know there's smaller ones. But you got to think these things, if they're supposed to be as strong as they say, you would imagine they'd be pretty decently big, especially if they're a one size fit all kind of thing. And you can't shoulder a rifle. Whenever you see me shooting those videos, I'm not shouldering it. I mean, I'm shouldering it, of course. I'm guessing where the sights are. And you turn those lights on, and brother, you're praying. You're praying you're hitting what you're aiming at. And I pulled it off with one shot. But you would not want to use that regularly. And if I'm going to be honest, if I was just a Wastelander, I do pretty much what my Fallout 76 character is. I just roam around in the armor itself, you know, the trench coat because it looks badass, no helmet. Because if you think about it, that's just going to be weighing you down. Wearing a helmet sucks. I've played Airsoft. I've wore that Ranger cosplay helmet. It's not fun at all. It is a heavy thing that kind of gets in your way. You know, it's good for protection, but mobility almost outweighs protection, and I want to say you want a good balance of both, of course, but if you're getting shot at, it's easier to not get shot at with mobility than it is to just tank it. So
yeah, and the Rangers too, they're like a scout force, you know, and like you don't necessarily need a helmet unless you're going to be in areas where, like in active war zones, you know, like an NCR trooper absolutely should have a helmet, right? Because they never know if they're going to get like mortared or shot at. But like the NCR Veteran Rangers, they do mostly like scouting operations. And I'm forgetting the term for it now, but I can't imagine why you would even want to have a helmet when you're not going to be facing any sort of like concussive forces.
No, it's just going to weigh you down.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you might get shot in the head and it might protect you, but overall, that's not how helmets work. They're mainly for what you said, concussive forces, shrapnel.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. Especially the NCR troopers helmets, just the NCR troopers, those aren't going to stop a bullet. Looking at them, you know they won't stop a bullet.
Right.
The way they're designed, they're literally, they're like the Brody style of a helmet, right? Where it's, if I'm thinking of the right thing, where it's outwards. So it's going to protect from falling.
Yeah.
That's what it's. Yeah. And that's.
Yeah. And
when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense why they got those kind of style of helmets. It's not like anyone they're going against has grenades and stuff. And even then, it's like. Huh.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the second Battle of Hoover Dam, it makes sense because the Legion, at the very least, has an artillery weapon. And I mean, they might not fix it and they might not use it, but they have it. So that's still like that's not gonna save your life if you're I don't even know how big the fucking blast radius is on artillery, but if you're anywhere close to it, you're fucked. Say goodbye.
Oh, that'd be rough, bro.
Yeah. One of my is an artillery guy for the U.S. Army, and he like constantly drops these facts on me, and I'm like, bro, never been around an artillery weapon. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, they're scary, bro. Like, and I don't know anything about them. I'm just looking at them like, bro, that's scary.
Yeah, like I've seen like videos. He showed me videos of him like doing trainings and stuff, and like they'll launch and like, dude, just the impulse forces on the round kick they provide so much momentum that they like kick the, like, I don't know, 2-ton or whatever artillery weapon like almost off the ground. That shit's like scary. You gotta think that round flies miles and then lands, and they're meant to land with a huge like explosive force. So like anything around that's not gonna be alive for much longer.
No. That's just crazy to think. Like the boomers, bro. Just think about how fun it was rushing them.
Yeah. I think if that, like, no matter what, in a realistic sense, if one of those rounds landed even in that remote area, you'd be dead. Like the concussive forces alone would kill you.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, but hey, Fallout logic.
Yeah, Fallout lore. Like a nuke. It's like, yeah, it's all right. It's, it'll blow up nothing pretty much.
If you have any like announcements or any things you want to tell the fans, that would be a good time. I gotta run to the restroom real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll be back. 2 minutes.
Sounds good, bro. Announcements. Let me think. I was just thinking, I'm really deep into the boomers right now, thinking of them blowing me up, and I get so pissed and swearing I'm gonna just murder every single one of them, and then I'm like, oh, these guys are cool, I actually like them. Anyways, announcements. Navigator released Navigators is not here. He's currently fighting off, I can't remember where he said he was, but he was fighting off a major force, helping. It might have been within Zion. I know he's been picking up the mantle for Randall Clark, so he's been helping with that kind of stuff. He's not here for this video, unfortunately. He'll probably be in the next one. But for announcements, that's, he's gone, but he made a video recently on the Fallout community. I think it's called Why We Love Fallout. Pretty dope video. It's like 30 minutes long, and it goes over comments and stuff of people why we love Fallout. And if you're a Fallout fan, you're going to want to watch that. It's pretty emotional. It's pretty great. Navigator, he's a great storyteller. He's really good at causing emotion when he talks with his emotions. So I'm trying to describe that. It's like he makes it more impactful. The way he describes it. Like when I say, I'm like, yeah, cool, I love Fallout. But when he says, it's like, damn, you start choking up. Anyways, go check that video out and leave him a comment saying, yo, Wastelord sent me or something. I don't know, something goofy. And then Fallout New Vegas Day, that was dope. Y'all should go next year for an announcement. Yeah, that's about it. For the announcement. Oh God, you scared me. Okay. Hey, yeah, dude, that was good timing though, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know why that jump scared me. That was weird.
Welcome.
Yeah, I needed that, I guess.
Yep. Welcome. You're welcome.
I was just telling him about, good old. I was telling him about Navigator's video. Pretty emotional.
Oh man, dude, it was so cool to like see so many people saying like good things about the Fallout 76 community and stuff. I don't know if you told them, but talking to Navigator on the first podcast episode, as well as listening to that video, got me to re-download 76 and start playing it again.
And we went around and we started. We didn't really do much. We just started talking. It was late, to be fair, so we were kind of out of it. But
I had to carry Wastelord through our first op.
Yeah, he basically, I got knocked every second. He threw me on his back and finished him off with, might I add, his black powder pistol that he carried on a double encryption.
Every enemy takes like 3 shots to kill. It didn't even matter. 1 shot, 5 minutes later, after I'm done reloading, boom, another shot.
And it was mad impressive.
No armor.
They were invisible.
I wish I could change the name of my like Fallout 76 character, because he has some like basic name right now, but I want to give him like a good one, like Beauregard Moneybags or whatever.
I want to say you can, but I could be wrong. I think you probably can't. It's probably you can customize them and change how they look.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you can't, but I would like to.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I need to get that monocle, bro.
Bro, you need that monocle.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, because we haven't said anything about it yet, my Fallout 76 character is just supposed to be like a rich socialite dude. So I'm in like a suit and top hat, and I shoot people with a black powder pistol. I'm gonna play the whole game like this.
It's pretty based, I might add.
Zazed, if you will.
Yes. Huzzah, a man of quality.
Indeed. Money. I need to get all them caps, bro. Have a infinite, free-flowing cap empire.
You got to do an Aristocats build. An Aristocats build is the more caps you have, the better your armor or your weapon gets with damage or protection. Yeah, dude. You have to do an Aristocats build.
You're gonna have to show me how to do that, Mr. 76.
I will, bro. I don't make... I preach the bloody build. Like, I'm like a child of Adam standing at the nuclear bomb talking about how good it is. But yeah, I'd have to show you that, bro, because when it comes to builds, I might not be the lore master, but when it comes to builds, bro, that's where I start to shine.
There you go. Yeah, I wish I could say the same, but I'm a one-trick pony, man. I know a lot of useless information about video games.
Dude, it's so sad. It really is. Because I'm in that same boat. I know so much about video games, and then when it comes to real life, I'm just a sad little man. No, I'm just kidding. But
I go home every night and cry into my Desert Ranger helmet.
And then I look at my plasma rifle, and it's so cute. Have you seen the prop for the plasma rifle that they made? The one-on-one scale?
Yeah, it's badass.
I'm looking at it right now. It's so good. I finally displayed it in a nice little area. Damn. Mm-hmm. It looks so good.
It does. All right, so I got a question for you.
Yes.
So for your Fallout Shelter videos, you got...
oh, yeah.
I saw recently you did that one where it's like the best loot for, I think, October, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, in your thumbnail, they're all legendary items.
Oh, yes. I put that into my description. I was like, guys, this is not clickbait. This is legit. I remember that, dude.
How do you get so many good items all the time? Also, how did you get your Fallout Shelter dude to look just like you? Because he looks so cool.
Oh, yeah, bro. So that's that guy. That was an app. I can't remember the app, but you can... I don't know, you just look up Vault Boy like custom editor or something like that. Something along those lines, and you can make your own character. But my actual character that I play as, he's also kick-ass. And I made him... I think I had to lose the beard. I'd love to have the beard with it, because my Fallout 76 guy, my Fallout... I try to make all my Fallout characters look the same. I do not have a beard in real life, but I eventually will, and it's going to look just like my Fallout characters. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. The guy in my Fallout Shelter videos, the one I actually play as, not my little thumbnail guy, but the guy I play as, I have him in power armor, and then your helmets go off after the recent update for mobile devices. So your helmets will go off if you're in a safe location and not fighting. So I wear T51 without the helmet, beautiful hair, the scar on the eye, and I look so cool. But yeah, dude, you can customize. You have to build a certain room to be able to do that. But back to the point where you said, how'd I get all that loot?
Yeah.
That video that I made, I thought that was a Halloween video. Another YouTuber, I thought it was Halloween. I really did. The name of it, how it looked, and it was limited time, and I was like, bruh. So he told me, he's like, yo, that's actually not Halloween. So mad props to him. I think it was Know It All Gaming. I'm pretty sure. Mad props to him. He called me out, and he's like, dude, he said it in the most respectful way too. He was like, yo, that's not actually the Halloween quest, that's a limited, and he told me it like a, know-it-all, because that's his thing. So I was like, dang. So pretty awesome. I couldn't change too much, because in the video I did say it was Halloween. Not Halloween, limited time thing that you have to find. It's like one of those little quests that you can find in a loot. But that quest, I'm betting money on it that is the best quest in the entire game. That thumbnail is not at all edited. Well, it is. I added my character, I added the words, But that loot pool, insane, bro.
So was that loophole like a screenshot?
Yeah, it was a screenshot that was in the video. You'll see at the very end. I'm like, guys, this is like, my God, this is the loot I got. And I was like, I have to screenshot this. No one's gonna believe me. And then I even put in the thumbnail. I was like, or not the thumbnail, the description. I was like, I swear to God, I'm not. What is it called? Bait. What? Damn it! How did I forget the name?
Clickbaiting?
Oh, clickbait.
Yep.
Bro, I was gonna say bait clicking. Like, that's how off I was. Yeah, but anyways, that's what it was, and I was genuinely impressed. And I most recently I actually finished my collection of apparel and weapons and Fallout Shelter, and that took me an ass load of time. And I just recorded it where I click through every single weapon, and you can read the description. So I didn't add any music, it's just the Fallout Shelter music, but it's a pretty fun little video, because even if you don't like Fallout Shelter, you can go there and read what they have the names for the weapons, because they have like a little thing, like, let's say the pistol, it's like, it might not be able to pierce through the skin, but it'll definitely hurt, or something like that. It's just fun reading those, and I used to do that all the time before I had any other Fallout games. So that's pretty fun.
And I'm looking at your catalog right now. Like, dude, one of your videos is like 77,000 views on it. Dude, that's super impressive.
It's crazy, bro. I don't know what it is about Fallout Shelter and Fallout 76, but they'll blow up. And because they have the most active communities.
Probably. I also, like, I can't think off the top of my head of any like content creators that do stuff on Fallout Shelter specifically, other than you.
Yeah, there's a few, like Know It All Gaming. Yeah, I think I was one of the first people to drop the 2023 reboot or whatever thing they did. And that was 2022. Damn. But yeah, once I dropped that, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of people. And another thing is, I have to boast about this. I haven't boasted about it. I've only seen people talking about it in comments, and I found it on my own.
Let's hear it.
Google Play, if you go to Google Play to download Fallout Shelter, I don't know if it's there because sometimes it'll change, but it's my video about Fallout Shelter that's on their like little thing. And so I got a lot of traffic from that, I imagine. People are saying, like, I don't know if you know this, but I clicked on this video from Google Play. I'm like, yo, like, it was super awesome to hear. That was one of my times I was like, damn, this is so cool.
One of the best comments.
Yeah, one of the best. That was freaking, it was so awesome because it never told me. It just kind of did it. But no,
I don't even know like where they would see a video.
I think you have to go, there's some weird way. It's like through, hold up. Tell me if I get well, if you can't tell me if I get disconnected, because then I wouldn't be able to hear you.
No. Don't worry about it. Let's keep talking. I'll look it up on my phone.
Yeah. So it was pretty amazing. And I think that's what really got it gain traction. But if you look at all my videos, the most popular videos I have is Fallout Shelter. And it's kind of wholesome because, first of all, I want to say this to all my Fallout Shelter fans that are not watching this. I love Fallout Shelter, and sometimes I'll go on breaks. I won't play it because it's at the end of the day, it's a mobile game, but it is the game that brought me to Fallout, and it's kind of what cemented my view on what Fallout is. And that's why I was saying earlier, Fallout 3, and I know I'm going to get some hate for this. I don't care because I'm based like that. Fallout 3 is probably my favorite Fallout. I love Fallout 4, don't get me wrong. But Fallout 3 has got to be probably one of my favorites. And I just love the environment, the atmosphere, everything about the location. Yes, the gameplay, the weapons suck ass. Can't even aim down the sights. There's some things, obviously, that I'd like to change, but overall,
the Chinese pistol is kind of OP.
Oh, bro, that thing is so much better than the regular 10mm pistol, even though it's harder to find.
So it breaks immediately every time you use it.
Oh, the thing is it looks so cool. Who wouldn't want to rock a Mauser C96 broom handle? Like, it's
got me there.
One of the coolest pistols, bro. Except it sucks ass, and it's so mad. It makes me so mad. Because I remember I found it the first time, I'm like, oh, yes, I didn't even know this was in Fallout. Oh my God, this sucks.
Yeah, one gun they should definitely workshop a little bit is that one. And also, I think they should workshop the alien pistol. And I think they did this in Fallout 4, where you could like replace the barrel with something that uses like microfusion cells or energy cells instead of the alien rounds. But like, man, dude, one of the frustrating parts about the alien pistol is it's so cool, but it never comes with enough ammo. And so like you can use it for like an hour, and then it's a paperweight for the rest of the game.
That's why you gotta have Mothership Zeta, my bro.
Dude, even then.
Yeah, even then they're kind of slow on refilling your ammo. Oh, the time I found out about the Mesmatron having a limited amount of ammo got me so sad. Because I murdered all of Paradise Falls, so I don't have that guy to buy ammo from. So I was like, damn, I probably should have found out about the Mesmatron. It's like the Lightning McQueen when he's talking about taking off the little boot thing. Mater. He's like, probably should have disarmed this before or whatever it is. Probably should have hooked him up to the trailer before I disarmed the boot. That was like me with Paradise Falls and the Mesmatron. So sad.
Sure.
But I haven't even used the Mesmatron now that I think about it. I've made a save that I was going to use it for, and then I haven't gotten to using it. But have you used it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you use it for that quest where you like have to enslave a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, the thing is I freaking can't do that because I murdered Paradise Falls.
Yeah, well, the key is to just pretend that you're going to help them and then just enslave them. They don't like that, but it's funny.
It's pretty savage, to be honest with you.
It's based.
It's based, honestly. That's just what you got to say anytime you mention something horrible. It's based. No, but yes, it's bad, but it's based. And then argument destroyed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with that, right?
You can't. It's based. If it's based, it's like stay away.
Exactly.
Dude, speaking of based, it's the Minutemen, bro. Best faction. Very best.
Get out of here.
Bro, they're my favorite. I got a little beanie and a scarf, and they're Minutemen. I'm gonna rock those. They're my favorite.
You're gonna, dude. Was there a Preston Garvey at New Vegas Day?
No.
There should have been. He should have walked up to everybody and been like, "A settlement needs your help. Here, I'll mark it on your map."
I know, and it's such a meme in the community, so I don't know why anyone did. Come on, guys, I'm disappointed in you.
Nobody wants to be Preston. People would rather be Caesar's Legion than be Preston Garvey.
They would, dude, and they did. I swear. There was Jason Bright, but there wasn't a Preston Garvey.
That's wild. Another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Fallout 4, Brotherhood of Steel, fascist or not? Show me what you got. How come?
Okay, let's think about it this way. Well, hold up. We got to be kind of careful what we say here, but the Fallout Brotherhood of Steel 4, well, you know what I'm saying. Tegan, you know the Proctor Tegan? He has you do side work that is capturing settlements by force. If they don't let you, if you don't do it right, you can do it by force, and they have to feed the Brotherhood of Steel. And I'm like, damn, they're basically every other bad faction, like the NCR, the Legion. They're just kind of a-holes. And they do help with destroying synths, but some of the synths they kill are just people, which is effed up. And they do destroy mutants. And the thing that pisses me off a lot is they try to kill Virgil, the super mutant, which is profoundly stupid. Really, really, really dumb. Like, take a hint, bro. Like, you want that guy on your side. He's willing to fight the Institute. They're dummies. Well, actually, no, he gets mad if you destroy them because they're so smart. But the thing is they want him just dead because he was a mutant. And it's just so dogmatic and stupid. It's like, come on, Project Paperclip here. We want this guy. He's going to be beneficial. So there's that. And then they want to destroy the railroad. They just want to go offensive, just destroy them. Kind of effed up, maybe based. And then
Definitely based.
and then they don't want to mess with. I don't know how they feel about the Minutemen. I think they're pretty chill about the Minutemen, but I don't know. Overall, I'd say they're pretty fascist because they want to just take your loot. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of them.
Based. Based.
Honestly, at the end of the day. But what do you think about them?
Oh, they're 100% for sure fascist. And here, I got a dictionary definition for you. So I looked up the definition in the dictionary, but I think that the way it's presented on Wikipedia sounds better. So I'm going to go with this one instead. So it says, fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy.
Entirely Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, wrapped up in a nutshell. I do want to say, though, that the mission because I think a lot of people kind of lump this in with the Brotherhood's ideals. That mission where you have to go to farms and basically be like, give us your crops or else, that's not a Brotherhood sponsored mission. That's like shady business work that the dude wants you to do. Yeah, so people lump that in because the thing with the Brotherhood is they're humanists. And so the idea is a lot of people will say oh, they're oppressive over sense. And they're racist essentially, but they're humanists. They put humanity first, and that's their whole mission. They want to kill feral ghouls because they're dangerous and they're a threat to humanity. They want to kill super mutants for the same reason. They want to destroy sense for the same reason. Does that make them fascist? Yeah, but does that make them bad? I don't necessarily think so. Because by nature, feral ghouls are a threat to pretty much everything other than feral ghouls. Super mutants, we have yet to see a society of super mutants that is not extremely dangerous and brutal to pretty much anything they come in contact with. If there was a town of super mutants like Virgil and they were just living, doing their own thing, not raiding and not pillaging other people, and the Brotherhood came in and were like, yeah, we're gonna kill you because you're all super mutants, then that would be pretty fucked up. But it's hard to argue with their ideology of wanting to kill super mutants because super mutants literally kidnap people and eat them alive, you know?
And the thing is there's so much super mutants that do that compared to the 3 that don't. So it's
right.
It's better to be safe than sorry. I do understand that, but it's still the fact that they want to kill Virgil, they go out of their way into the glowing sea. That's just dumb, and I don't understand that.
Right. It reminds me of in Skyrim when you have to kill Parthenax for the blades.
I don't know too much Skyrim lore. I haven't really played it as much.
Well, I won't spoil too much for you, but Parthenax is a dragon, and he helps you out. And so the blades, they're well, he's a dragon, he must die. And you're but no, he's a good dragon. And they're we don't care, go kill him. And so you have a choice. You can either kill Parthenax or not. If you don't, nothing happens. You just don't progress through the blades quest line. But if you do, then you feel bad because you killed your homie basically for being a dragon. That's
just dumb.
Yeah. So with the Brotherhood though, you can get them to spare Virgil. You have to go talk to Lancer Captain Kells, I'm pretty sure, and convince him that Virgil is not a threat, and he'll begrudgingly accept and be all right, whatever, leave him alone.
Yeah. I think it's Paladin Dance. It's they're just being ops, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it's wild because yeah, absolutely the Brotherhood is fascist, but it brings into question is a fascist society better for the wasteland? Because it's certainly better for the people who live in the Commonwealth, right?
No,
You don't think
Minutemen.
so?
Bro, the Minutemen, dude. I'm telling you, if you can build them up to a certain point to where they can carry on to them after themselves, oh, I'm telling you, bro, they're the best because they have artillery, they have a functional society, and if you do what they want, they're good guys. The Brotherhood of Steel says blow every single bastard up in the Institute. The Minutemen will get pissed at you if you do that. They're like, no, you issue a evacuate order, and any hostile combatants that want to stay and fight, they'll get blown up. But anyone else, they're free to go, which could be dangerous, could come back to bite them in the ass. But it's the right choice, in my opinion. And building up, like, you have to build supply lines. That's one of the first things you have to do. So once you get it rolling, though, it could really be a force on its own. And I want to quote Oxhorn here because I watched a lot of his videos, and he says it's like the Soul Survivor. Level 1, yeah, you're the worst, of course. But as you level up, you become the most powerful force in the Commonwealth, and that's much like the Minutemen. It's mirrored as if they're the kind of the player. So I do understand that if they didn't have, the intervention of someone helping them in the Museum of History, they would have been effed. But after that, they start to build, and it's so cool, dude. I freaking love the Minutemen because they expand. They go to Far Harbor, they go to Nuka World, and they have a supply line. They have, eventually you can have vertibirds. You have artillery. You have a centralized location where you can have everyone meet up and do all that, and then after that, they're not like, yeah, we're going to steal your food. No, they make their own food. That's their whole point, is they're a militia. They're good guys. And I might be because there's so much of a good guy that I'm just falling for them. But
you fell into the Howard trap. It just works.
I did, bro. But it's just like, they're so cool. How could I not like them? They're good guys, and they just want to help people. The Brotherhood of Steel, and I want to make this very clear. When I was on PlayStation and stuff, I kind of thought the Minutemen were kind of lame, and I was like, it was like in 8th grade. I remember I got a Minutemen flag for graduation of 8th grade, little graduation ceremony, and I was like, damn, I could have gotten a Brotherhood flag or something. Like, the Minutemen are lame. And then it's like, over time, I'm a huge settlement builder, but over time I was like, damn, the Minutemen are the best. They're so cool because you can build up all this, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you shoot that flare up, and you got some backup. Especially if you play with mods that make more sense. But even without mods, you can. For one thing, in particular, it's the Dunwich Boars. Every time I go there, I'm just like, oh wow, a lot of raiders. That's cool. Artillery, and then they just get murdered, and it's so awesome. They just get smoked. So you have snow chain. Like, bye, idiots.
I agree. I think that the Minutemen, if you can build them up, they're a really good faction. And I think that they would probably do the best of governing the people of the Commonwealth. I don't think that their military power can compare to the Brotherhood of Steel. But then again,
it can't.
I don't think the Brotherhood of Steel really has any intention of staying anyways. I think after they destroy the Institute, they might occupy the region just to steal some technology, or I guess repurpose it. It's not really stealing if it doesn't belong to anyone anymore, repurposing pre-war technology, and then they might just like return to the Capital Wasteland, maybe leave a small chapter there or whatever to deal with any sense that survived. And, I think realistically, the Brotherhood of Steel could probably coexist with the Minutemen in that respect, where like the main force is gone, right? And it may not always be mutual between them, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, but they also stole and this is speculation, but it's kind of pointed to, but the Rivet City's nuclear reactor was repurposed for the Pridwin, and I feel like they would go to Diamond City and be like, yo, you guys got some cool stuff, I'm gonna take that. I don't know what you would take from Diamond City other than their main reactor.
I don't think Diamond City has anything worth taking, at least from a Brotherhood perspective, because if they did, then it would at least be brought up, I think, by someone in the game. And I mean, I don't know. I walk around there and I don't really see anything worth taking.
Yeah, the only thing would be that main reactor, and even then, it's like, not even. But they want to. I know they would. The Minutemen, they've gathered lots of cool stuff. Their laser muskets, they'd probably want to take all those. Like, yeah, we could repurpose these. You guys got some power armor here and there. We'll take those.
Well, they absolutely would not want those shitty laser muskets. No way.
You don't, bro. But there's no. Okay, hold up. If you get a 6-crank laser musket, I argue that's the best gun in the game. Call me crazy. That thing is insane. If you can get it to 6 shots, bro, oh my god. One of the best weapons.
I think me and my Infinity Gatling laser want to have a few words with you.
Bro, that's all cool in games until I one pump you with that 6-crank overcharged capacitator. Oh.
Don't tell me you're going to pump me at all.
Oh god, no. Wait. Oh,
wait, no.
Wait.
So I have a mod for Fallout 4. It's actually like a series of mods that levels up the Minutemen the more you build them up. So like the more settlements you get, the more supply lines you establish, their weapons and their armor will get better over time. So like they start out in the basic Minutemen gear with like laser muskets, and then they'll upgrade to like leather armor with ballistic weapons, and then they'll go to combat armor with laser weapons, and then eventually they get power armor like with Minutemen paint and everything, and they'll have like vertibirds and stuff. Like it's pretty cool.
Is it buff Minutemen militia?
Probably. I don't know the names of pretty much any of the mods I have.
Yeah, that's the one I rock, and it's very similar to that. And it's it makes way more sense. Like it makes
more realistic for sure.
Yeah. I do want to say I think it is coming up on the 2-hour mark for podcast. And
yeah, I was gonna say I'm about ready to wrap it up. So any closing thoughts you'd like to add?
Yeah. You said you got some videos coming out because we haven't seen you upload in a decent amount of time, and you've been helping out with the podcast. So we gotta give you props for that. And
yeah, man, I'm like a month between uploads anyways, but starting next year, I'm hoping to be at one video every 2 weeks. You know, I'm building a team, trying to get more content out quicker.
Dude, you said that like you were Nick Fury for a second. I'm building a team. Sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, we're called the Revengers.
Yeah, we the Lore Vengers.
Yeah.
Got all the lore.
The Lore Vengers.
Crafting the lore, bro. But yeah, so that's gonna be about it, everyone. What did we cover? It felt like we just went heavy into the Legion, bro.
Yeah, it's like NCR and Legion. Probably call this like NCR Legion debate or whatever.
Yeah, even though it wasn't really a debate because we were just like, we were playing devil's advocate here and there. So
the debate cast.
Yeah, it was good, dude, because we got to explore the sides, you know. And next time we'll probably talk about the NCR because there's some good things about the NCR. You know, well, that's not what we're saying. We're just it might have sounded like we were dogging on them the entire time, but no, I definitely believe there's some good things about the NCR.
Yeah, it seems like really what we did was we just explored some of the Legion's lore and like speculated on a few things. I mean, it makes sense because like everybody knows about the NCR. That's like it's like no one plays that game and has not done an NCR run at some point in time, right?
Exactly.
So most people don't play the bad guys, and I think more often than not people are altruistic and they don't want to, you know, hurt NPCs' feelings or I don't know, murder entire towns. So they don't they don't play the bad guys that much, right? So a lot of the lore is misunderstood and unknown. I think, yeah, we mostly, it seems like we mostly just covered their lore and, you know, reminded people that the NCR and the Legion are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, they really are. That's how I see it. That's how you see it. And it's hard not to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like that.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on again, Wastelord. I appreciate it. I can always shoot the shit with a fellow Wastelander.
Oh yeah, and we might have went on longer, guys, but he hopped on 76 after I got off work. He's like, "Yo, you want to play?" And we ended up staying to like 1:30. So I woke up late. It was super fun. We did all kinds of stuff, and then we went deep into Legion lore again, surprisingly. But yeah, it was super great. So it's always great having you, bro. We got to do this with guests eventually. I think it'd be so sick because it'd be so cool, you know. But for now, I love just talking about Fallout lore and all that. It's so dope, especially because you know so much of the stuff you're talking about. It's like when I talk to you, I learn more, but then I'm able to bring some stuff and talk about, because when it comes to Legion and stuff, you're the man. You're the Legion. That's you. So it's really good to hear your side on it.
I stake my claim there. I am the Legion guy.
He's the guy.
The guy.
The Legion guy.
I'm the guy. No.
He's the Legion guy, everyone.
He's the guy.
The guy from the waste monster of the East.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
bro, imagine getting hit by the blade of the East and just flying like 30 feet.
God, bro. Especially if it's like taller than you, like that'd be rough.
Dude, yeah, it's made. I think I'm almost positive that his sword is made out of like a car bumper.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine holding that?
Maybe that's the blade of the West that's made out of a car bumper.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the blade of the. That's the only one I can remember. It's got like the license plate on it and stuff.
Yeah, but it's essentially like the same thing, you know.
Yeah, they recreated it from that.
Yeah.
That's the best DLC in the world, by the way.
You get smacked and you just like fly. You fly off the edge of the dam.
God, dude, that'd be so rough. Imagine, like, you get all the way there just to get freaking one pumped.
Yeah, you survive Quarry Junction. You evade the Cazadors. You manage to convince all these factions to back you up, and then you get there, and then Linnaeus just like smacks you like in the ankle, and you just go flying off the dam.
You're trying to convince him, yeah, cool, but your words don't matter to me. Smacks you off.
Right.
That'd suck, bro. That would suck. But yeah, so we'll do this. We're doing this. I can't remember how often we're going to do it. Probably every 2 weeks or something like that. I think that's what we were talking about. Maybe every the end of the month, whatever. We'll figure it out. This is our second episode. We don't need to be worrying too much about that. Thank you all so much for watching. Go subscribe to Neo if you want to, or the TheNeoCypher if you want to know some Fallout lore. He's got tons of it. And subscribe to here if you want to know, you know, Fallout podcasts and all that lore and stuff and all that good, delicious Fallout content. But thank you all so much for joining us, and may the Wasteland treat you with peace and prosperity.